When you read the daily newspaper and the font is in Comic Sans, will you read it? Few say that it takes the joy out of reading and it becomes boring even though it induces creativity and speed, while others will disagree, saying that it will be fun and different. And last, there's the ones who don't even read the newspaper at all. Why do people have such different opinions on a mere font? When you think about fonts individually, what do you imagine? Who created so many? How does it affect our daily lives? I am going to talk about how fonts make a difference in our lives and how we perceive things depending upon fonts. In the past, calligraphy has evolved in such a way that it's hard to even express as a subject because of the large and different varieties of them used today. With literature in Islam, the main origin is from the Quran. There weren't many songs or even paintings on whom they worship. The only thing was the Arabic itself. This was the start of calligraphy in the Middle East. How it was written in the Quran itself was considered an art form. Calligraphy in the Arabic language is the highest considered type of art and was one that was said to have originated from the spiritual world. Arabic calligraphy, or rather Islamic calligraphy, provides a very large link for the language of worshippers of Islam. Like this, there are so many other continents where calligraphy plays a very important role in their religions. Sacred texts in India are also written in beautiful calligraphy in Sanskrit. There are so many people who have changed how fonts are and created so many that spread over a large number, about 200,000, but not more than 260,000. The main reasons that we have fonts was for presentation and creativity. When we make presentations, the visibility and the harmony that it creates on us with the psychological effect is overwhelming. Some say that Comic Sans help us to be more creative and faster while doing our work. But when doing an important presentation, the ideas that you want to express won't be absorbed as well with Comic Sans, which feels fun and kiddish. While other fonts like Bakersfield feels very trustworthy and Book Antiqua feels old and wise. It's like a person who is living for a long time and is so humble. Along with fonts, colors also play a large role. Fonts help to keep the attention of the reader and also help to convey what you want to say. It's actually a technique to play with the senses and to make us remember something for a very long time, such as an advertisement. Writer and filmmaker Errol Morris ran an experiment in the New York Times titled, "Are you an optimist or a pessimist?" where a passage was given and then people had to choose their answers. Where one example is that, is it true we live in an area of unprecedented safety? But the writer was actually not interested in doing that at all. He actually wanted to see how fonts and typography affected people's decisions. But yeah, sure, the results were so interesting as how fonts actually change what you feel and read. And when the researchers of CERN found the Higgs boson particle, or the God particle as it was called, they published the results in Comic Sans. The creator of Comic Sans himself was a little disappointed by how this font was used in that situation. As the font was not appropriate for usage there, many people were talking still on and on about the font itself, other than the God particle. When you get on the metro and the map is on a font that is too funky, people may just sometimes ignore it. They may think it's kind of graffiti, but could be an important notice about a route. And when there's an important notice in a route that is written in a font that is not recognizable, it's not appropriate for use there because it won't be recognized by a cognitive system. When we use fonts, we have to understand how they affect readers and how they will perceive information depending upon them. We have to be really careful when we use a font and remember that the whole atmosphere changes like this. Like here, there's this sentence where it says, "I will never forget you," in a font that looks scary and as if one person was so traumatized by the experience of a person who affected them so badly, and another where it was as if a very nice romantic novel where this person who will miss them for eternity. Now, when fonts decide how we absorb things into our brains, we can choose to change what we learn. There are thousands and thousands of fonts to choose from, and only few are usable for a particular situation. And now you have the power to change what people see and what they understand by how you use a font. Thank you.